Well, I taught the weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry.
And I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. And the tears I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river. And I'm gonna sit right here until I die.
Well, I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota. And it tore me up to hear her when she drawled that southern drawl. Well, I heard my dream went back downstream for Horton and Davenport. But I follow you, big river, when you call.
You took me to St. Louis later on down the river. Freighter said she's been here, but she's gone, boy, she's gone. Then I found a trail in Memphis, but she just walked up the bluff, raised a few eyebrows, and moved on down low. Well, I pulled into Natchez next day down the river, but there wasn't too much to make around to stay very long. Well, I left, it was raining, so nobody saw me cry. Big river, why is she doing me this way?
Bat it down for Baton Rouge, River Queen, rolled it on. Take that woman on down to New Orleans, New Orleans. Go on, I've had enough, done my blues down in the Gulf. She loves you, big river, more than you.
Well, I taught the weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry.
And I showed the clouds how to cover up the clear blue sky. And the tears I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river.
And I'm gonna sit right here until I die.
Thank you.
Well, the best way I know to describe Willie Nelson is, a lot of people call him laid back, but we always call that lazy.
Oh, I don't think any of us have found out anything about each of us, any of us, that we didn't know before.
No, that's not true.
Have you ever had 3 or 4 leaders of countries that didn't like one another?
Well, yeah. I don't know. Once you got it, you always got it.
All of us have egos the size of a bus.
Nah, that ain't it. Now, wait a minute. I'll tell you what it's like. It's like a trip into the past. And yet it's all up to date. Because we do the songs a little different. The main thing and the best thing about the Highwayman Tour is the music and the songs.
Well, my daddy left home when I was 3. Didn't leave very much to my ma and me, except this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now, I don't blame him cause he run and hid, but the meanest thing that my daddy ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue. He must have thought it was quite a joke, and it got a lot of laughs from lots of folks. Seems I had to fight my whole life through. Some gal would giggle and I'd turn red, and some guy'd laugh and I'd bust his head. I'll tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. But I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fists got hard, my wits got keen. Roamed from town to hide my shame. But I made me a vow to the moon and stars, I'd search the honky-tonks and bars, kill that man and give me that awful name. Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July, and I just hit town and my throat was dry. Thought I'd stop and have myself a brew. At an old saloon on a street of mud, and there at a table dealing stud sat the dirty mangy dog that named me Sue. Well, I knew that snake was my own sweet dad from a worn out picture that my mother had. Knew that scar on his cheek and his evil eye. He was big and bent and gray and old, and I looked at him and my blood ran cold, and I said, "My name is Sue. How do you do?" I'm gonna die. Well, I hit him hard right between the eyes, and he went down, but to my surprise, come up with a knife and cut off a piece of my ear. Then I busted a chair right across his teeth, and we crashed through the walls and into the street, kicking and a gouging in the mud and the blood and the beer. Well, I'll tell you, I fought tougher men, but I really can't remember when. He kicked like a mule and he bit like a crocodile. I heard him laugh and then I heard him cuss, and he reached for his gun, but I pulled mine first, and he stood there looking at me, and I saw him smile. And he said, "Son, this world is rough, and if a man's gonna make it, he's gotta be tough." And I knew I wouldn't be there to help you along. So I give you that name and I said goodbye, and I knew you'd have to get tough or die. It's that name that'll help to make you strong. He said, "Now you just fought one hell of a fight, and I know you hate me and you got the right to kill me now, and I wouldn't blame you if you do. But you ought to thank me before I die for the gravel in your gut and the spit in your eye, 'cause I'm the that named you Sue." What could I do? I got all choked up and I threw down my gun. I called him a paw and he called me a son. Come away with a different point of view. And I think about it now and then, every time I try and every time I win. And if I ever have another boy,